In this program, we're in an American state that has breathtaking scenery, a place where gold was found, which Native Americans, where the landscape is home to thousands of bison, and Mount Rushmore, surely one of the most iconic sites in America. We're in South Dakota. South Dakota is larger than many European countries, yet has a population of just 900,000, the same number who live in the city of Brussels in Belgium. The landscape is full of natural wonders, as well as dramatic man-made ones. There are vast open spaces where the wild bison once roamed. Historic towns, such as Deadwood, attract thousands of visitors, where legendary figures such as Wild Bill Hickok both lived and was killed. South Dakota is bordered by North Dakota to the north, Minnesota and Iowa to the east, Nebraska to the south, and Wyoming and Montana to the west. The state is split by the upper Missouri River Valley into eastern and western regions. Much of eastern South Dakota lies within a region known as the Prairie Plains, while western South Dakota is part of the Great Plains and characterized by high buttes, canyons, and wide expanses of nearly level tablelands. The state is named after the Dakota Sioux Native American Alliance, who in the 19th century fought and defended one of the largest land areas on the Great Plains after gold was found in the Black Hills. Though eventually confined on reservations, the Sioux continued to protect their cultural traditions. In 1889, South Dakota became the 40th state in the Union. The Black Hills is an isolated mountain range rising from the Great Plains of North America in western South Dakota and extending into Wyoming to the west. They're extremely popular with millions of people who come each year. The Black Hills are so called because of their dark appearance from a distance, as they're covered in evergreen trees. The Black Hills encompass the Black Hills National Forest and Custer State Park, along with several smaller state parks and monuments. It has an area of 13,000 square kilometers. The National Forest was created in 1897 by President Grover Cleveland. In this vast region, there are some very popular places to visit. This is Sylvan Lake, one of 5 lakes in Custer State Park. It was created in 1891 when a dam across Sunday Gulch Creek was built. The lake area offers picnic places, rock climbing, small rental boats, swimming, and hiking trails. One of the most prominent and beautiful features of the Black Hills are the dramatic rock formations known as the Needles. They are eroded granite pillars, towers, and spires, and much favored by rock climbers and tourists alike. They have names such as Totem Pole, the Thimble, and Rubaiyat Spire. On the grassy plains of Custer State Park, visitors can see a herd of over 1,000 wild bison. The park has an annual bison roundup, when 400 to 500 calves born that year are auctioned in September, so that the remaining number of animals will be compatible with the amount of land they can range on. The whole area was once the hunting grounds and sacred territory of the Western Sioux and Arapaho Indians. In 1868, the rights to the region were guaranteed by the government in Washington in the Treaty of Fort Laramie. However, in 1874, after gold was discovered in the Black Hills, thousands of white prospectors and miners swarmed into the area. Native American resistance to that influx led to conflict, and eventually the Sioux victory at the Battle of the Little Bighorn. But despite that victory, the US government was still able to force the Sioux to relinquish their treaty rights to the Black Hills in 1877. The Lakota have continued to try to reclaim the property ever since. Almost 100 years later, in 1980, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that the Black Hills were illegally taken by the federal government and ordered the remuneration of the initial offering price plus interest of nearly $106 million. The Lakota refused the settlement as they wanted the Black Hills returned to them. The money remains in an interest-bearing account, which is now well in excess of $1 billion. But still, the Lakota refuse to take the money. They believe that accepting the settlement would allow the US government to justify taking ownership of the Black Hills. Notwithstanding the ongoing legal wrangle, it is easy to see why the Black Hills of South Dakota continue to be so popular, as they attract 3.5 million people a year who arrive from across America. Places such as Hill City offer a glimpse into earlier days, and from here, visitors can set out to explore this glorious landscape. When gold was discovered in the Black Hills, prospectors along with settlers wanted to get there. So, in 1876, a stagecoach route was opened between Cheyenne in Wyoming, which was as far as the railway got from the east, and Deadwood in South Dakota. 11 years later, the railway had spread westwards, putting most of the stagecoach routes out of business. In its heyday, this route was approximately 600 kilometers long and took up to 2 days to travel one way. Along it were stopping places to change horses and provide food and drink for the passengers. Though the route only lasted 11 years, thousands of passengers, tons of freight, and millions of dollars in gold traveled along the trail. As a result, robberies were a constant threat, as were Indian attacks. On top of this danger was the actual stagecoach journey itself. And Mr. John Gray recorded his experience. That day's stage ride will always live in my memory, but not for its beauty spots. Jammed like sardines on the hard seats of an old-time leather spring coach, it is always a mystery to the passenger how many can be wedged into and on top of a stagecoach. If it had not been for the long stretches when the horses had to walk, enabling most of us to get out and foot it as a relaxation, it seems as if we could never have survived the trip. Almost nowhere else is more synonymous with the Wild West era than the town of Deadwood, which stands at the northern edge of the Black Hills. It came into being in the 1870s as a result of gold being found in the nearby hills. The town quickly gained a reputation as a rough and rowdy place, and a center for bars, gambling, and prostitution. One event for which the town is most famous is the killing of Wild Bill Hickok in 1876. He was a folk hero of the American Old West, known for his life on the frontier as a soldier, scout, lawman, cattle rustler, gunslinger, gambler, showman, and actor, and for his involvement in many famous gunfights. He ended his life shot in the back of the head whilst playing poker. The entire town turned out for his funeral. He is buried in the cemetery above the town. In 1879, a devastating fire destroyed most of the wooden-built town, with many people forced to leave, having lost everything. Gradually, the town was rebuilt. In the 20th century, the town went into a gradual decline, and in order to revive Deadwood's economy, gambling was legalized in 1989, which immediately restored the town's fortunes. Today, Deadwood is a National Historic Landmark. A few miles from Deadwood is the point where gold was first discovered, and at the center of the find is the vast open cut, which was once a solid mountain. Over the years, around 48 million tons of ore have been removed to create this half-mile wide and 1,000-foot deep hole. Fabulous fortunes were made in the first few years of prospecting, until one man bought up most of the promising claims and created the Homestake Mining Company. The word homestake came about when a prospector had claimed sufficient gold to make him rich enough to make his homestake, meaning to make enough money to return home and live comfortably. In earlier days, mining gold was a labor-intensive business, as a ton of ore had to be blasted or hacked out of the ground and then sifted to produce just 1 ounce of gold. Over the years, mining expanded and new shafts were dug around the town. Homestake Mine was to become the biggest, deepest, and most productive gold mine in the Western Hemisphere until it closed in 2002. Mining today still carries on in another big pit, but helped by modern machinery. This mechanized style of mining is a far cry from the early days of prospecting, when men just wielded a pickaxe and shovel and dreamed of becoming rich.
Join travel vlogger Michael Downey for 4 surprising days in Welsh waters. Experience the quintessential UK countryside and get to know the charming culture and interesting infrastructure of canal boating. Downey live travels by boat Friday night at 8 on Pearl. If learning is a journey, then why not take it to the road? Join us through great countries and chaotic cities. Explore the stomping grounds of locals and meet the ordinary people of extraordinary cultures. Hit the road Saturday night at 8 on Pearl.
50條免費直播頻道，擴闊國際視野，買 TV Super 有嘢先，搜尋世界各地人文風景、美食文化等內容，適合熱愛旅遊嘅你。環球旅行頻道 Globetrotter， 涵蓋氣候危機、社會議題。I am a girl。紀錄片頻道 Dogsville， 帶你走入荷里活嘅黃金時代。RCM 頻道，追蹤體育明星嘅娛樂頻道 Trace Sports Stars。
智能電視版買 TV Super， 快啲下載啦！
Outback App 全新功能，打開滋味傳送門，排位會員專屬，訂座人人可享，排位訂座快人一步，一機搞掂。Queue and reserve moments you deserve. Outback Steakhouse, stick with you.
The all-new eMPF platform is now in service. Whether you're an employee, employer, or self-employed person, register once, and it becomes your one-stop hub to manage your MPF with ease. All MPF schemes will be gradually added to the eMPF platform. If you're an account holder of these schemes, please stay tuned for your MPF trustees notice and register from the specified date. eMPF, manage your MPF with ease.
Once upon a time, a prince met his princess by the hillside.
How romantic! Landslide demon, seize them!
My prince, the landslip warning is now in force. We must stay away from slopes.
We must also avoid staying between slopes and structures. Let's return home or find a safe shelter. Stay in rooms furthest away from slopes or at higher floors. Keep vigilant. Follow emergency officers' instructions on evacuation.
Dive deep into the thriving waters of shark territory. Follow scientists and naturalists as they discover the dazzling diversity of this iconic fish family. Are they marvels or monsters? Shark with Steve Backshall starts Saturday night at 8:30 on Pearl.
The capital of South Dakota is the city of Pierre. It was founded on the east bank of the Missouri River. It was designated as the state capital when South Dakota gained statehood in 1889, and named after Pierre Chouteau, an American fur trader who had established Fort Pierre as a trading post in the 1830s.